Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. One of the most important things that we stress with those who have taken our Detect and Detox kit is to read your labels on your products. Whether it's food product or personal care product, house cleaning product, please read your labels. There's so much information on the label, including like nutrition, ingredients, greenwashing red flags, certifications, and then so much more. However, reading labels can be very confusing, especially if you don't know what to look for. And that's why we are excited today to be joined by Jen Smiley of Wake Up and Read Labels. Jen Smiley is an expert food coach and creator of the Clean Eating Academy. She has helped thousands of people make food simple and so they can feel their best. We're going to discuss how Jen helped a family member lose 35 pounds in 3 months by switching to clean foods, and how to look through these false advertising claims on labels, and then some of her go-to meals when she's in a quick pinch. So, oh, here you
Hello.
are.
I had to switch my internet. Are you Jenna?
Yes, yes.
I well, I'm excited. Let's do it. Let's
I'm not hearing you. Hold on. I think it may be something going on with my headset. Let me take it off.
That's okay. I went ahead and put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I'm excited to help people read more labels, understand what's going on. So let's go into it. I know people like to get to the information quickly.
Love it, love it. Okay, before we start, tell us a little bit about your background and like how you became like a expert food coach.
Absolutely. So the beautiful thing about what I do is that anyone watching here can also do, because I'm just a regular person. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a dietitian. I am not a doctor. Although sometimes, like I was on a podcast earlier and somebody said, "Oh, welcome, Dr. Jen Smiley," and I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, hold the phone. That's not really me." So the beautiful thing is how I got into and became this expert food coach is that I started eating this way myself after I was battling inflammation, acid reflux, asthma, and just stubborn weight and not being very, not having good endurance in my workouts, things like that. And so one day it dawned on me when I was walking home, I was drinking Premier Protein drink and it looked like gray clouds came in. My heart sunk and I said, what am I drinking? I realized I don't recognize any of these ingredients. I actually can't even pronounce them. And at the time, I wasn't thinking, I didn't piece it all together. I didn't say, oh, I have to go find clean labels or, oh, I'm reading the labels. It wasn't like that. I was very alone. But it did make me venture to my kitchen. I ran inside, opened my pantry, opened my refrigerator, and discover the coffee creamer, the salad dressings, the all my canned goods. I mean, everything around had all of these same weird chemical additive ingredients. And so it just led me on a mission called the Wake Up Mission to discover, okay, let me go find protein made with simple ingredients. Let me go find crackers made with simple ingredients. And so I was teaching spin classes eventually. Once I figured out all the labels because my endurance got better, my weight peeled away. I mean, instantly, it was like overnight. I stopped needing to take an inhaler. I no longer had reflux. And so once I became a spin instructor, people started coming up to me and saying, what do you eat? And I'd say, oh, I eat a turkey sandwich. I eat meatballs and spaghetti, yada, yada. And so they said, can you take me to the grocery? Can you come clean out my pantry and my kitchen? And so it started like that. And then here I am 3 years later, after working with thousands of people, I have figured out which ingredients causes one to feel bloated, to feel inflamed. And also, I think a lot of people out there are restricting themselves when they go on diet programs or they see a nutritionist or a doctor. They're restricting the foods they should be eating. Whereas in fact, here at Wake Up and Read the Labels, we actually are going against the grain and teaching something different. And we're expanding their menu. Therefore, they can eat the foods they love and feel good.
I love it. I love it. You actually have a very inspiring and touching story of helping a family member lose weight just by eating clean and preparing for getting important surgery. Do you mind like explaining how that experience empowered you and what you did?
Yes. So I recall when I was teaching spin classes, I had a family member diagnosed with prostate cancer. He was 56 years old at the time. And my family called me and said, "Hey, Jen, you eat healthy, right?" For many years, 8 years, everybody said my husband and I ate freak food. It's because they didn't know what we were doing. They never really dove in. And ironically, the freak food is all the weird chemical food, right? We're eating real food, but that's a whole other topic of conversation. So what I did was I went to the grocery store for him and I got about 8 grocery bags. I'm talking biscuits, crackers, condiments, ice cream, you name it, it was in there. And I said, "Look, eat this stuff. And when you run out, take a picture and go to the grocery and get it. Also, if you go out to eat, send me a picture of the menu. I will tell you what to order." In 3 months, he lost 35 pounds. He got off of blood pressure medication, completely removed from blood pressure medication. But here's the most beautiful part. The most beautiful part is that when you are waiting for a robotic surgery, you are not getting any type of treatment, right? So the cancer essentially should be the same or it should be growing because you're not treating it. The only thing we were doing in this 3 months is food. And so he was going to get his blood level checked every 2 weeks because they like to monitor how fast it's growing. His actually decreased. It was going down every 2 weeks by about a tenth of a point. And they were like, "We don't know what's happening. We don't know why the cancer is like shrinking essentially." And so that made me as a spin instructor step back and say, "Hold on, I might have something that can help more people." And that's when I got this idea of maybe I need to show more people this. Then I started taking pictures on my Instagram and showing, my turkey sandwich, everything. And that's when the clients started coming up to me. And I developed groups, and then I developed an online course to help more people.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And what I really loved about Wake Up and Read Labels is that, you acknowledge many of us are trying to eat healthier and then but still feel, bloated, fatigued. So what are some reasons? You mentioned about processed food, right? And then what are some things?
Absolutely. So food and health, first of all, are connected. If someone does feel bloated, it is because their body is talking to them. Our body has symptoms. That's our body's way of saying, "Hey, I don't like something, you feed me." So when you're eating inflammatory foods, additives, preservatives, inflammatory oils, flours, sweeteners, you have holes in your belly, in your intestines. And what happens is when you're feeding it bad things, these holes get bigger and toxins and pesticides and inflammatory things get into your gut. Therefore, it's a leaky gut now. It expands and your body's screaming, "I don't like this. I'm going to bloat. I'm going to make you tired. I'm going to make you have IBS." So it's really these ingredients that disrupt your gut.
Right. So what are some common ingredient? You mentioned a few things that in everyday food that causes inflammation, like sugar. I know sugar is one. And then some of the oil you mentioned.
Yes. So sugar is not bad. Our body does need sugar. I actually did a podcast on my podcast, Dr. Michael Gorian. He's a doctor, does sugar-proof kids. He studies the effects of sweeteners for 20 years. There is over, I think, 150 names for different types of sweeteners, artificial sweeteners. Studies show, I'm not a doctor, this information's out there. Studies show that artificial sweeteners have increased risk for cancers and heart disease and all these things we do not want, but we are seeing. America's obesity rate is up. The food is toxic. We are sick. And so what are some foods? Sure, sweeteners, but maple syrup, raw honey, these are really good nature-made sweeteners. The problem is we're drinking Celsius because it says 0 grams of sugar and it's got like asulfame potassium and it has sucralose. I also think Skinny Girl Margarita has dextrose or sucralose, one of these OSE sweeteners. So yes, that stuff is wrecking your hormones. Likely it is causing gut disruption. It's making you tired. It's making your blood sugar spike. It's making you more hungry and tired. But also the oils, I would say the number one ingredient America needs to eliminate is the refined seed oils, because it's in everything. It's in our restaurants, in our foods, it's everywhere.
Wow. Wow. So besides oil and sugar, is there anything else that we need to pay attention that could cause inflammation?
Absolutely. I could talk for 8 hours on this. So inflammatory oils, flours, sweeteners. Your inflammatory flours are going to be wheat flour. It's going to be enriched white flour, white flour. Oils, it's going to be corn, peanuts, safflower, sunflower, canola, vegetable. Sweeteners, there's over 150 of them. Other ones, there's additives, there's preservatives, there's artificial colors, artificial flavors. Unfortunately, there used to be only 800 additives in our food, and now today there's over 10,000.
Oh my God.
Yes, those are the ones that are actually approved. There are thousands of additives in our food that is not even approved. They go around the FDA and get their own food scientists to come in and say, hey, look, you make this look generally recognized as safe, and we can categorize it as that. If you start looking into the European Union's food, they ban a lot more ingredients than we do here in America, but I certainly cannot list out all the inflammatory foods because there is over 10,000.
That is insane.
So instead of someone having to memorize which ingredients to avoid, because there's over 10,000, it's way easier to fast track and figure out all of the labels that are clean and that can bring the foods you love back into your life.
That makes a lot more sense. So what are some like common chemicals that we should know about that is not on the labels? We'll talk about the label in a bit.
What do you mean that's not on the labels? I'm confused with that question.
So is there anything that we should care about if they're not labeled, like in like packaged food or anything?
Okay, I don't really understand this question. I can tell you what's super important for people to really understand. I think a lot of people are grocery shopping and they're reading non-GMO, they're reading gluten-free, dairy-free, corn-free, right? Now, here's the thing. I love doctors. We need doctors, okay? If you have a really good doctor, they sit down with you for 15 minutes and they say, listen, Jenna, you need to eat better. You need to exercise more. And in fact, I'm going to help you so much. I'm sending you to my nutritionist, okay? They send you to your nutritionist. Your nutritionist gets this piece of paper and she says, Jenna, I want you to go find corn-free tortillas, and then you have to drink dairy-free milk and yogurt, and you have to get gluten-free bread. So all of a sudden you take your paper and you put it in the passenger seat of your car and you drive to the grocery and you bring your paper in and you're like, okay, I have to get dairy-free yogurt and dairy-free milk. And you start looking and there's like 1,000 dairy-free milks and 1,000 dairy-free yogurts. And you're forced between So Delicious, Oatly, Almond Breeze, all these brands that we recognize, and we recognize them because the food industry is saturated by these big monster companies that are driving their costs down using fake, terrible ingredients, and they can take up all the shelf room, which is why you do look at the milks and you don't realize that 3 Trees in the bottom is actually clean, but they don't have the funds to compete with Oatly that is funded by Oprah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's dark.
It's true. It's the food industry is a liar. So if you see non-GMO, you see 0 grams of sugar. In fact, you can go and look at a box of cake mix and it'll say no artificial flavors. And you know what's funny? They put what's not in the box on the marketing. They say what's not in it. In fact, I think Califia Farms, they say carrageenan free. And to most people, they have no idea what carrageenan is, but they know they don't recognize that. So if the milk is free from it, it makes you, conditions you to believe that it's healthy. So what I want people to know is they need to be not a label victim. It's not their fault, but they have to see past all the marketing and look at what really matters, the ingredients, because what we're teaching is against the grain. It's not normal, and nobody's talking about it.
Right. So what are some like rule of thumb that people shouldn't follow when they go about vetting ingredient labels or just product labels?
What should they do?
Yeah.
some rule of thumb, like, okay, what are the major, like, say, 5 things people should absolutely consider?
Okay, number one, read the label, means read the ingredients. Number two, do you recognize these ingredients? If you do, um, okay, do you actually know what? That's a good sign if you do. Then you're obviously choosing a more simple, say simple product. But number three is figure out what those ingredients, I guess, the side effects or what those ingredients can lead to. For example, there is simply almond milk, and I think it's water, almonds, and natural flavors. Now, that's way better than, say, Califia Farms that has emulsifiers, gums, fillers, weird ingredients we can't pronounce. However, I want you to know that the natural flavors are chemical. And I want you to know that the almonds could potentially be sprayed with a pesticide. So it's not the best choice. 3 trees and milk are the best choice. It's organic almonds, water, and salt, and that is it. So you have to weigh between what your options are at the time. And then you have to make sure that there are no inflammatory oils. So making sure there's no canola oil, no sunflower oil. I know a lot of you out there love Skinny Pop, but it's inflammatory oil. Another one is making sure that it is a good sweetener and not a bad sweetener. So I even have clients who join my program. They come to my coaching call and they see the Nature's Big Bakery bar and they say, look, I got something healthy. And I said, let's start to read these ingredients together. Brown rice syrup is not a good sweetener. So it's partially reading the labels and choosing the most simple, but there is a main factor of being educated on what ingredients leads to inflammation and what doesn't. And that just, for me, it took 8 years. For people that join my program, it takes them 3 months.
That's amazing. We're gonna have to talk about the program in a little bit. So we talked a lot about like oil, right? So what kind of cooking oil then do you recommend?
Yes, I love avocado oil. I love extra virgin olive oil. I would say those are my top 2.
Awesome. Yeah, I try to use, if I need to fry anything for, a change of taste, I try to use avocado oil because it has higher smoking point,
Yep.
so that you don't create that trans fat. Then
Yep.
regularly I would use the extra virgin olive oil.
Perfect. I also really love ghee. I love sheep's ghee.
Delicious.
Yep, grass-fed ghee. Really good.
Awesome, awesome. And then what about sugar? So if you're diabetic and then you're like trying to use a sugar substitute, what kind of sugar do you recommend? Do you recommend stevia or other type?
Well, I would have prefaced that with I'm not a doctor, don't take my advice. Lawyers ruin everything. My husband's a lawyer, I get it. But you do want to find, zero glycemic index. I personally do not I do not endorse, or I do not recommend, I should say, stevia. Do you drink stevia?
I don't.
Okay, so a lot of people do. The problem with stevia is they use tons of chemicals in order to create
Process.
the stevia. Yep. And then the chemicals leach in the stevia. It's a gut disruptor. I see it all the time. People remove stevia from their life. They feel better. Things that are similar to stevia is monk fruit. You have to get non-GMO. Also, they're starting to find studies that allulose is pretty good as well.
That's good to know. Yeah, stevia, because I think a lot of time people advertise, or at least company advertise stevia as being, this natural product, but it's actually the processing of it. It's not very good, and then so it will still like disrupt your gut microbiome.
Yep.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. No comments on that. So a lot of us like prepare food and then like turn to like prepared food, canned food, and then stuff. So if you want to be quick, what do you recommend for people to eat a healthy meal if you still want to be quick?
Yeah, super quick. There's tons. There's some freezer-friendly meals, and the Primal Kitchen makes some. There's also a brand, Patagonia. We all know that for the backpacking, right? They make canned, or I think it's canned, tuna fish, mackerel, all kinds of things with extra virgin olive oil and capers in there. So if you need to bring some protein to work, or you're going road trip, vacation, those are really, really good because they also have clean seasonings and clean oils in them. That's another option. Another great idea I always tell people is bake some chocolate chip banana bread on Sunday, slice it up, put it in a little Ziploc so you can have that for breakfast or snack every morning. Also, you can buy a loaf of bread, make a turkey sandwich every day for lunch. That's super simple. And then there is like Sunny brand. I really love Sunny snacks. They have cassava crackers with guacamole. They have tacos. They have all kinds of stuff. It's also great for kids' lunches.
That's very good to know. So now tell us about the Clean Eating Academy.
Sure, thank you. So Clean Eating Academy is an immersive online course that I put together, over 185 modules in there, over 1,000 product recommendations. I have every cuisine, so Vietnamese, Mexican, Italian, American, all the restaurants. I show you, I have videos coaching you how to read the menu, how to order on the menu. Also have guides you can print out to show you the sauces, the crust, everything. I show you supplements, makeup, skincare, how to get the family on board, how to froth your coffee. There's everything. I also host a monthly coaching call every Thursday, the first Thursday of the month. Answer everyone's questions. Recorded copies go into my course. I have a Facebook group where I have me and my food coaches in there every day responding to if someone needs a recipe, if a product is clean or not. They're at the grocery store, they text a picture, we respond. We share wins in there, and they also get product updates. When there's a new product on the market, they get notified, and it also comes in a product app on your phone.
Wow, that's super comprehensive.
Absolutely. I mean, it's priceless, the amount of lives that it changes. Yeah,
That's amazing. So do people just sign up through your website?
Yep, you can go to wakeupandreadthelabels.com. However, for everyone watching that might be new to me and say, what is she talking about? Why is she telling me to read the labels? I prefer to send you to freemorningguide.com. That's going to give you 3 common foods that are killing your energy and ruining your day. So there's a clean bagel, clean milk, and there is a clean protein on there, because everybody always asks for clean bread, clean milk for my coffee, and clean protein. But that'll also get you on my email list. I send 3 emails out talking about different topics. I also host a free follower for anyone watching. It is 10 o'clock Central Standard Time every Wednesday morning, and it's a way for me to get my community together, get to know me, and just answer some questions.
Love it. Love it. So what about a coaching call with you, coaching session with you look like?
Yep. So I used to do these. I don't necessarily do one-on-one coaching, and I don't do my own consults anymore. And that is because I am trying to service people in a different way. I do have a team of food coaches who does do my free consults. If people click the link in my bio, they can schedule a free consult, and we kind of are able to ask them where they are on their clean eating journey, answer their questions, and see how the course could be attainable for them. But I do host a coaching call, like I said, once a month with all of my clients forever. And that's a Zoom where they ask questions before, they ask questions during. It runs anywhere from 1 to 2 hours, me answering questions.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You also, during this, this session, you also mentioned about your podcast. So what kind of topic do you discuss? And, where can people find and download your podcast?
Absolutely. So you can find us on most podcast platforms. I know specifically it's on Apple, it's on Spotify. It's called Wake Up and Read the Labels. A new episode drops every Tuesday. So today, what am I covering? I'm covering brands who are making clean foods, right? That's number one. That's the most important. We're talking about ingredients that may be holding you back from feeling your best. I'm also talking to other people in specific fields that have a more conservative measure with food and health being connected, as it is always turned into surgery and medication. So really topics to help people who are trying to eat clean, but they need a little bit more guidance.
I love it. I love it. Wow, this is such great information. So thank you so much for joining us today and then giving us all these great resources.
Thank you, Jenna. So nice to meet you, okay? And I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining. So be sure to follow Jen and Wake Up and Read Labels and check out Jen's podcast and then sign up for the Clean Eating Academy, because this will be life-changing. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Let me know if you need anything, okay, Jenna?
Thank you.
See ya.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.